So I decided that I had a patient yesterday, young girl, about 22. Um, she has anxiety that's pretty severe. And, as I was meeting with her and kind of saw her begin to sort of deteriorate as she talked about her anxiety, I realized that she just kept saying, my anxiety, it's so severe, I can't do anything, I can't get out of the house, I can't get a job. And I understand, I do. But there's so much more to anxiety than medication. And that's what I want to talk about that. But, we're going to start with just talking about what is it? What is anxiety? It's a disorder that really basically comes in all shapes and sizes and actually can be kind of hard to identify. But according to the National Institute of Mental Health, anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the United States, affecting 40 million adults ages 18 and up. That's a whole lot of folks, guys. That is a lot of people. And I think it's worse now because when you watch the news, just everything's an upheaval. And, we went through the pandemic, and that actually increased anxiety tremendously. I don't have stats on that, but I think, we've all heard that. So, let's kind of flesh this out and see what this looks like, and see what our options are for managing anxiety. So while there are many different types of anxiety disorders, they all share one common symptom. You probably know it's fear. Fear is a normal emotion that we all experience from time to time, but when that fear is constantly present and interferes with our ability to live our lives, it becomes a problem. When you've got fear like that causes a physiological response, it can actually affect your everything. It affects your adrenal glands, your cortisol gets out of whack. There's just a lot of things that can happen in the setting of constant anxiety and fear. So, what are the symptoms of anxiety? It's actually kind of comes in three phases, but talk about that in just a second. But they manifest themselves. Anxiety symptoms manifest themselves in different ways. There's the three different stages of response to anxiety, and if you understand and identify those stages, you may be able to alleviate anxiety before the symptoms become full blown. So, what are the common symptoms? First, it starts with cognition. It's the way you think. It usually begins with a thought that results in worry or uncertainty, and once that worry thought starts, it can escalate into worsening cognitive symptoms and lead to physical symptoms at that point. So worry usually stems from fear about the future. That future can be 5 minutes away, or it can be 5 years away. And you're going to get in your car and you're going to drive, take a 800-mile road trip. There might be a little bit of fear involved with that because you don't know anything about the other drivers on the road. You don't know anything about the traffic that you're going to face when you get from point A to point B. And so there are things that can stimulate that fear. Um, and so calming that fear is going to lead to calming the anxiety, which won't progress into the next part of anxiety, which is the physical part. So you've got the thought, you've got the fear, and you're thinking about it, and now you start to feel physical feelings. So the cats, the physical feelings can range from, just a little mild uncomfortable feeling to very severe symptoms. You may start to sweat. You may feel your heart rate increase. You might feel lightheaded or dizzy. You may have a lot of tension, especially in your neck and your shoulders. You may feel tight in your chest, and you might even become nauseated. All of these symptoms, this is your body's attempt to avert danger. You may become really shaky. You start that sweating. Your stomach becomes upset. That butterfly feeling that you might get. And that might also send you to the bathroom with a bout of diarrhea. So, these physical symptoms, they can be extremely severe. This is what happened to my patient yesterday. Um, she didn't go to the bathroom, but she was sobbing and crying and shaking and just kept talking about her anxiety and claiming it and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't, I was, it was a struggle, I'm just going to say. But Sometimes the anxiety can become so severe and you get that tightness in your chest that people actually believe they're having a heart attack. And it becomes a medical emergency at that point, even though there may not actually be anything wrong with the heart. Anxiety is a very real condition, and it should be treated by a mental health professional. But if you're experiencing any symptoms like this at all, then you need to definitely reach out for help. Behavioral symptoms are the next stage. So we've had the cognition, you've had the thought, you've got the worry, the fear, and now we're going to move on. And then you moved on into the physical symptoms, which were all the physiological responses to that fear and that thought. And now it's a behavioral thing. So you might feel, I don't know what my notes are saying here. I do have notes, guys. It's not all off the top of my head. I ain't that smart. So, um, so we've got this change in behavior. You might just manifest that change. So it's no longer a physical symptom, but it's a psychological symptom. So you might manifest that fear or that worry in things like you avoid situations because you don't want to go where it makes you anxious. The young lady yesterday just kept saying, I can't get out of my house. I can't get out of my house. I can't get a job. So she couldn't get out of her house because her anxiety is so overwhelming. You might feel on edge or just be tired all the time. You might have trouble sleeping, or you might sleep too much. You might have trouble concentrating, and you might just really be irritable or easily frustrated. I do want to go back because I missed this, and I'm kind of mad at myself for missing it, because this is what really, if you've got this, you're doing great. And this is what the word says about anxiety, and the word being Jesus. So Jesus specifically tells us not to worry. He says this in Matthew 6:25 and 27. He says, therefore I tell you, don't worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Isn't life more than food and the body more than clothing? And in verse 27, he says, can you add one moment to your lifespan by worrying? So, worrying can be all consuming. I don't know about you guys, but I think that I manifest anxiety by having constant conversations in my head with this person that I'm having trouble with, or with myself. I'm having trouble with myself, so I talk to myself all the time. It's just this constant conversation going on. So we're going to move, like, for the rest of this week, we're going to talk more about this, and like, actually, you know how I am, I want to like discuss why is this happening, what goes on in the brain that actually makes this happen, and is there an underlying condition that might actually make anxiety a reality. So there's things to look at as far as labs and stuff like that. And then we're going to also talk about conventional treatment, of course, and then last and the best is we're going to talk about alternative care and using essential oils and cannabis or CBD. So that's to come. So you all have a great day. As usual, give me a shout, post it in the comments so it boosts the algorithm, so people that aren't seeing the information in this group can get a notification that something's going on, and they can come check it out. This might speak to somebody. I don't know, that girl yesterday broke my heart. She was actually drug seeking, and she was looking for, benzodiazepines is what she wanted. And, I'm not a proponent of giving those, even in severe situations, unless it was a hospital setting and, you need to, medicate somebody because they're, over the edge. So anyway, that's that. You guys have a great day. Enjoy your, if you're here in Southern Illinois, enjoy this gorgeous day because we're getting ready to have a cold snap. So you all have the best.